Back on Inside Tennessee with our guest, Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, representing Oak Ridge, and he is the Dean of the Senate. Also with us, former Representative Eddie Smith and Don Bosch. And Don, the Lieutenant Governor talked about two key issues that will likely dominate the session. The first, education and the basic education BEP funding formula. The second, redistricting. That was a question you talked to the former speaker, or the Speaker of the House, about last week as well.
Well, that wasn't me last week, John, but I have talked to Cameron about that on other occasions. But those things said, Lieutenant Governor, I think a very well-known Republican that I'm friends with, he and I agreed once that the two biggest problems in politics are dark money and gerrymandering. And gerrymandering really equates now, unfortunately, to redistricting. So I'd like to hear your take on whether you think the process now, as we're doing it this time, as we did it 10 years ago, is fair to all parties, is neutral, and representative of the makeup of our state. Because contrary to each party, the other one exists in this state and needs to be treated fairly. I say that about Republicans. Unfortunately, I don't hear many Republicans say that about Democrats. But how do you feel about our redistricting policy, and is it really fair?
Well, the first redistricting I went through was in 1980 or 81. And I remember talking to Ken Renner. You probably remember Ken. At that time, he was a reporter for the Knoxville Journal. And he said, I finally figured out what redistricting was. In an election, the people look at the incumbent's record and decide whether to keep them or not. In redistricting, the incumbent looks at the people's records and decide whether to keep them or not. And to a large extent, that's how it was done back then. And I remember it was done behind closed doors, and it was purely partisan. What we've done is put a lot of transparency in the process. We had a committee that actually took input from individuals, and of course you couldn't do this in 1980, but people could actually draw a plan for either the Senate, Congress, or the House. I'm sorry, for us it would be the Senate and the Congress, and as long as it was a statewide plan, we were able to accept it and review it, and then we took pieces of those different plans that were submitted and came up with a comprehensive plan for both the Senate and for Congress. And then what we did is that has actually been voted out of the study committee and will probably be on the floor on Tuesday. But we also advised, I met with the Democrats about what was going on, and certainly if there were some changes that they desired in their districts, I would look at them, and as long as it kept within the two guideposts that we have to keep within, both the one man, one vote and the unnecessary splitting the counties, would be amenable to do it.
So, Lieutenant Governor, let me ask, you said that you would listen to the Democrats, and if they met your two guideposts, as you just described, you would try to do that. Were any changes made that the Democrats requested? Any Democrat? Because I've heard a lot of complaints. My friend Gloria has complained that it was not a transparent process for her and others. And so I'm curious to take your statement at face value. Were any changes made based on requests from Democrats?
Well, I can only speak to the Senate redistricting plan for the state Senate. And actually, we gave them until this afternoon, late this afternoon, to see if there were some things that they would like in the redistricting plan as to how it affected their districts. And I'd have to check with my chief of staff and find out whether they made any requests or not.
Well, it'll be
We've
a
got to-
topic we'll come back to another show.
Indeed, no question. We've got to take another quick break on Inside Tennessee. Don, my apologies for confusing you with Billy Stair last week. We're back with more.
More than me.